Welcome to episode 12 of the Grand Meadows Fireside video series, and today we're going to be talking about a much simpler topic than the whole joint and digestion long drawn out process that I went through in the previous series of videos. Hoof supplements are relatively simple. There's not 350 of them on the market like joint supplements, so there's still plenty of hoof supplements out there. And kind of wanted to cover the critical ingredients and what's real, what's not real, etc. So one of the first things is what I kind of call the holy grail of a hoof supplement, which is going to be biotin, methionine, zinc, copper, and lysine. Those to me are the really critical elements that should be in a hoof supplement. Now, one of the first things that I've been seeing for some time as this category of the market becomes more saturated is people get into, manufacturers wise, well, let's put more biotin in there. So there's a product with 50 milligrams of biotin, there's a product with 100 milligrams of biotin, and biotin is a water soluble vitamin, and frankly, if you're putting in considerably more than has been shown to be effective, which is between 15 and 20 milligrams, all you're really doing is making sure that your vegetables have good looking feet. So, you know, I would steer clear of those products that are claiming such a high dose of biotin. I also believe that biotin is really not the most important ingredient in a hoof supplement. So what's supposed to be going on is the biotin should be being produced in sufficient quantities for the horse in the hindgut as a result of beneficial bacteria stimulating the production of biotin and other B vitamins. Now, some horses may be genetically predisposed not to produce enough biotin. Obviously, we've got thoroughbreds, we've got horses with white feet that historically have had, problems with poor quality hoof horn. But I believe, in fact, that a more critical element in a hoof supplement is the level of methionine, because what methionine does is, through a process called transamination, it's converted to cysteine, which is another amino acid, and that's really critical for forming what are called disulfide bonds, binding the different layers of keratin together so that you've got a good structural integrity in that hoof wall. And obviously that's why most people are feeding a hoof supplement is, they're getting quarter cracks, or they're losing shoes, or the feet are crumbly, or they're not growing. So methionine, I think, is more important. But in terms of, again, these levels, so 15 to 20 milligrams of biotin is really where all the research shows, that's sort of the correct amount. On the methionine side, 2,500 milligrams to 3,500 milligrams should be sufficient. Lysine, say 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams. Zinc, a couple of hundred milligrams, and then copper. Now, this is an important thing because the ratio of zinc to copper must be correct. It should be at least a 3-to-1 ratio of zinc to copper. And whilst the hoof supplements in general tend to follow that, if you're feeding, for example, a vitamin and mineral enhanced grain product, or you're feeding some other supplement, you do want to kind of see that the cumulative amount of, say, copper in any of those other products is not going to start bringing that level of copper where you're not getting that 3-to-1 ratio of zinc to copper. Now, the other thing is time. You've got to be patient with a hoof supplement. It's going to be 2 to 3 months after you feed a hoof supplement before you start to see some new growth occurring at the coronary band, and then after that, we're really looking at, generally speaking, 9 to 12 months before you actually get that new hoof material in contact with the ground. There's a lot of other problems that can occur with the hoof. We've got things like thrush, we've got white line, we've got, my brain's not working as well as it should be today, but you're probably abscesses, things like that, and generally those are more horse management issues. Things like always being careful, particularly if you've ridden over any stony ground, to make sure you pick your horse's feet, to try to make sure that the environment the horse is in isn't wet, because again, if they're standing in a wet environment, that can cause bacteria to occur. So But those to me, I think, are more horse management issues versus, a structural problem with the hoof. And that's where I think the hoof supplements, can come into play. One of the things that always kind of surprises me, though, is, when I look at all these products out there, they don't appear to be entirely dissimilar. And yet, if I had $1 for every person, my fireplace has disappeared. I've got somebody on the trapeze now. Okay, well, I'm skipping to video. I don't want any of that stuff. Hold on, there we go. So I always find it kind of interesting that I've had, as I said, so many people over the years say, well, I tried a bunch of hoof supplements and none of them seem to work. And then I used your hoof supplement and it really worked. And I'm kind of going, I don't really understand that, because they all seem to have the same thing. The only thing that we put in our product, I think, that's sort of unique is that we put our prebiotic yeast in there. So that might be a factor of perhaps in sort of adding additional support to the production of biotin in the hindgut. We also have this hoof pellet that we put MSM in, because what I wanted to do was with horses that are prone to laminitis, which is inflammation of the laminae, those tendrils of connective tissue that attach the hoof wall to the coffin bone. So I used the MSM in our product, as a way of hopefully mitigating that inflammation in either a pre-laminitic horse or a horse that indeed has laminitis. But in sort of drawing to a close, because again, this is not a really complicated topic, look for the right levels. Don't go for the excessive levels. It's not better if you've got 50, 75, 100 milligrams. It's not really going to improve the product at all. Make sure you've got, again, the methionine, the lysine, the zinc and the copper, and be patient. It does take time. So I don't think I have anything else particularly earth-shattering to add on hoof supplements. Next time we're going to talk about the skin and the coat. I wanted to say thank you for the questions we've been getting. We've been getting some really interesting questions about joints, about digestion from our previous videos. And I will look forward to seeing you next time, as I say, when we are going to be dealing with skin and coat. Thanks for watching. Bye.